You wake up one morning to the sound of diesel engines. You walk outside with your coffee, still half asleep, and see bulldozers digging around your house. Not near it, around it, like they're building a medieval moat. And standing there, clipboard in hand, wearing a smile that could sell ice to an Eskimo, the HOA president. This isn't some dystopian nightmare. This actually happened to me. And before it was over, I'd be trapped on my own land, fighting back with hidden cameras, viral videos, and one very angry dog named Banjo. My name's Moni Keene, and this is the story of how a suburban HOA tried to starve me out of my own home, and how I made them regret every single shovel of dirt. Let me take you back a bit. I'm 42 years old, living on the same 12-acre plot outside Tulsa, Oklahoma, that my parents left me. It's not fancy. Ranch-style house from the 70s. Wraparound porch that I rebuilt myself after a tornado ripped through in 2014. But here's the thing. It's mine. I've got solar panels I installed piece by piece over 3 summers. A well that goes deeper than any HOA would ever approve. A workshop I treat better than my own bedroom. And when the lights go out in town, mine stay on. For years, my closest neighbors were deer and the occasional wandering cow from Tom Halverson's ranch. Life was quiet. Life was good. Then the developers showed up. 4 years ago, they started building what they called a modern unified community experience. Translation? Boxy prefab homes crammed onto quarter-acre lots with strict lawn regulations and color-coded mailbox policies. They built right up to my western boundary. I figured that would be the end of it. I was wrong. 2 months ago, I got a letter. Crisp white envelope. No return address. Just 3 embossed initials. SHA, Sunny Hollow Homeowners Association. Inside was an offer to buy my land. They called it community expansion and promised fair compensation based on recent appraisals. I didn't even finish reading it before tossing it in my fire pit. 2 weeks later, another letter. This time with a number highlighted. $600,000. I literally laughed out loud. That might sound generous if you don't know what you have. But I know every inch of this land, where the water runs, where the cottonwoods lean in summer, where Banjo likes to nap in the shade. You can't put a price tag on that. Then came Karen Martell. I was fixing fence in the south pasture when I heard tires on gravel. Slow, deliberate, like a predator sizing up its prey. Out stepped a woman in a pale blue pantsuit, heels clicking, clipboard in hand like it was a royal scepter. Miss Keene? Big, rehearsed smile. That's me. She launched into this speech about shared community values and cohesive residential harmony. It was like someone fed a realtor chatbot too much coffee. I waited for her to take a breath. Not interested. Her smile didn't even flicker. Wow, I understand this property may hold sentimental value, but I'd encourage you to think of the bigger picture. I gestured to the open field behind me. Lady, this is my bigger picture. Something shifted in her eyes. Just for a second, like a shadow passing behind her pupils. But that smile snapped right back. She left her card on my fence post like she was marking territory, got in her white SUV, and drove off. For a while, I thought that was it. Sales pitch rejected. Life goes on. Then I noticed a white sedan parked at the HOA's property edge. It sat there for hours. The next day, men in safety vests walked my perimeter with measuring tape and clipboards. Something was brewing. I could feel it like static before a lightning strike. I just didn't know how bad it would get. The morning it started, I woke up to a sound I hadn't heard since 2009 when the county widened the main road. Diesel engines. Bone rattling. Too close. Too early. Then came the clank of a backhoe slamming into earth. I threw on my boots, grabbed Banjo's leash, and rushed outside. The first thing I saw was dust. Thick rolling clouds of red dirt kicked up by machinery that had nitrogen monoxide business being where it was. One dozer, two backhoes, a dump truck, all parked along my western fence line, engines roaring. And there, directing traffic in a designer scarf and reflective vest, was Karen Martel. She saw me and waved, like we were at a neighborhood barbecue. "Morning, Miss Keene." "What the hell is this?" I barked, Banjo growling at my side. "Just a bit of work on our side of the boundary," she said, holding up that damn clipboard. "Routine drainage and soil reinforcement." I stared at the trench they were carving. It started about 4 feet from my fence and ran deep, 6 feet easily. And it wasn't stopping. They were digging around my entire property. "You planning to go all the way around?" I asked, already knowing the answer. Karen's grin widened. "Well, now that you mention it, yes." The audacity literally knocked the breath out of me. "And you didn't think you needed to ask me first?" "We checked the plat lines," she said smoothly. "According to our documents, this trench is entirely within HOA jurisdiction." "Karen, you're encroaching. This is illegal." She made this theatrical gesture, palms out. "Oh, come on now, Monique. No need for dramatics. Look at it this way. A little isolation might help you reconsider our offer." She didn't even try to hide it. "You're trapping me on my own land." "Not trapping," she said, voice syrupy sweet. "Just creating a little breathing room." I called the sheriff's department immediately. A deputy named Wilkins showed up 35 minutes later. Young guy. Took notes. Nodded a lot. When Karen came out with her laminated maps, he looked at both of us and said, "We'll have to verify this with the county. For now, no one's crossing into your home lot. Technically." "Technically?" "We don't make land determinations," he said. "That goes to zoning. I'll file a report. If you think it's a boundary violation, you might want to get a lawyer." Karen was already smirking behind him. That night, I sat on the porch with Banjo and a lukewarm beer, watching the last backhoe idle away. The trench ran like a scar along my land. I knew they'd be back. And they were. By the end of the week, they'd parked a dump truck across my last remaining access point. I literally couldn't get out. Deliveries couldn't get through. My mail got rerouted. The trash company called saying they couldn't access my bins due to construction obstruction. I was landlocked, on my own damn property. By Friday, it wasn't just a trench anymore. It was a moat. And I was inside it. Here's what Karen didn't know. I'd been watching her. Years ago, I installed off-grid security cameras. Not the obvious Ring doorbell kind. These were motion-triggered trail cams and solar-powered micro-recorders hidden in fence posts, birdhouses, and one particularly aggressive-looking garden gnome. Paranoid? Maybe. But you grow up in Oklahoma tornado country, you learn to prepare. That week, those cameras earned their keep. One clip showed the backhoe clearly crossing my boundary. Another showed HOA workers dragging survey flags past my fence, laughing. He'll cave by next week. But the crown jewel? A 23-second clip of Karen standing beside a bulldozer, pointing at my well pump. Make sure that trench hits just shy of that thing. He can't live out here without water. He'll break faster than the zoning board. I didn't scream. I didn't rage. I just sat there, drinking lukewarm coffee, feeling something colder than anger settle in my bones. Then I took that flash drive to the sheriff's office. But I didn't stop there. I went online. Posted to the local Facebook group with screenshots and a YouTube link titled, HOA digging trench around private property without consent. It exploded like dry grass in July. Comments poured in. Most people were shocked. A few HOA loyalists tried defending Karen, but they got drowned out fast. Within an hour, someone tagged the local news station. By evening, my inbox was flooded. Reporters, podcasters, random strangers asking to repost. I said yes to everything. Meanwhile, the HOA sent me a cease and desist for defamatory content. I replied with one sentence: "See you in court." I've got more footage than Netflix. The next day, they tried blocking my water access. I filmed that too. Captioned it, "They just blocked my water. Sunny Hollow, HOA doubles down." By sunset, that video had 10,000 views and the local news was calling for an interview. Karen thought she was isolating me. But what she didn't count on, I'd built a bridge. Made of surveillance footage, public outrage, and one very pissed-off Oklahoman who wasn't backing down. At 2:43 a.m. on a Wednesday, Banjo started growling. Not barking, growling. That low warning noise he only uses for raccoons or very dumb people. I looked out and saw flashlights bobbing near the trench, metal clanking, low voices. I grabbed my boots, coat, phone, and a crowbar. Two men in HOA security windbreakers were unloading concrete blocks into the trench, filling in the small passage I'd cleared earlier for water barrels. And standing there, arms crossed, watching in silence, Karen. No clipboard this time, no scarf, just a smug smile. I didn't say anything. I just raised my phone, turned on the flash, and filmed. That clip would be the one that finally made the sheriff's department stop sitting on their hands. The next night, same time, same diesel engine, I was ready. I sat in the dark, porch light off, Banjo coiled like a spring by the door. When that same pickup truck backed toward the trench, I stepped out, slowly, deliberately, with my 12-gauge rifle slung over one shoulder. "Evening," I said, loud, flat. Both guys froze mid-lift. "I'm going to be real clear," I continued, not raising the gun, just present. "This is private property. What you're doing is criminal trespass. If you set one more foot on my land, I will respond accordingly. Oklahoma law allows me to defend my home and property." The guy holding a cinder block set it down like it might explode. Karen stepped forward, voice high and brittle. "This is outrageous. You're threatening people with a weapon." "No, ma'am," I said calmly. "I'm stating facts. You've dug a trench around my home, blocked my water, destroyed my infrastructure, and now you're sending people to sabotage my access point in the middle of the night, all on my land." One guy looked at her, then me, then back at her. "Screw this," he muttered, climbing into the truck. Karen's face twisted. "You'll regret this, Monique." "No," I said, raising my phone and hitting record. "You will." When the sheriff's deputies arrived this time, they came fast. I showed them everything, every angle, every camera. Karen's silent nods, the block placement, the whole operation. The deputy watched in silence. When the last clip ended, he rubbed his jaw. "All right, this changes things." They took statements. Karen refused to speak without a lawyer. Fine by me. The next day, my lawyer Jenna filed an emergency motion to freeze all HOA construction until a hearing could be held. The judge granted it within hours. But by then, the story had blown up nationally. Headlines like, "HOA traps man on own land with trench. He fights back with footage and firearms," were everywhere. YouTubers reacted to my videos. One guy made a cartoon of me defending a castle with a trebuchet made of lawn chairs. It was absurd, hilarious, and useful, because suddenly everyone was watching. The hearing room smelled like old carpet and burnt coffee, but to me, it might as well have been the Coliseum. Judge Dunley didn't waste time. Karen's lawyers talked about miscommunication and boundary ambiguity and community vision. Then Jenna stood up. She laid out the original survey maps, a timeline with matching video footage, a spreadsheet showing HOA budget misuse, tens of thousands spent without community approval. Then the clincher. "Your Honor, The documents the HOA presented to law enforcement, we ran them through the registrar's office. They're forgeries. One signature belongs to a county official who died 3 years ago. This isn't miscommunication. This is fraud. Karen went pale. Her lawyers stopped scribbling. Judge Dunley tapped his pen for a long time. I'm issuing an immediate cease and desist on all HOA activity involving Mr. Reed's property. The trench must be backfilled, the well unblocked, and access restored within 7 days. A full criminal investigation will follow. 3 HOA board members resigned the next day. Police raided the HOA office. Turned out Karen had used HOA funds for everything. Equipment, security, even her personal landscaping. They froze the accounts, seized her laptop. Then they arrested her. Fraud, forgery, conspiracy to intimidate, unlawful construction. Her mugshot hit local news before her SUV was even towed. I didn't celebrate. I just watched from my porch as the trenching equipment was rolled away on flatbeds, and the ground around my land finally began to return to what it should have been all along. They filled the trench on a Tuesday morning. County trucks, not HOA crews. Big machines, clean and efficient, undoing weeks of spite in hours. I stood on the porch with banjo and coffee, watching as they leveled the dirt, smoothed the road, and opened my land to the world again. Karen didn't show. Last I heard, she's awaiting trial. The HOA dissolved entirely. A county trustee took over. Some homeowners apologized. Some avoided eye contact. That was fine by me. 2 weeks later, the court awarded me compensation for damages, legal fees, and emotional distress. Enough to fix everything and finally install that storm shelter I'd been putting off. But more than the money, it was the silence I appreciated. No bulldozers, no fake permits, no pastel tyrants measuring my grass height. A month later, I installed a new fence, solid cedar, 10 feet tall, real concrete footings. On the west side, I added one little sign, nothing flashy, just bold black letters on a metal plate. Asterisk, asterisk, trench 2025. Never again. Banjo sat beside me, tail thumping. Behind us, my land stretched wide and peaceful, just like it was meant to be. So what's the moral of this story? Stand your ground. Document everything. And never, ever let someone with a clipboard and a smile tell you what your property is worth. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the land. It's about what you're willing to fight for. And me? I'll fight for every single inch. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, smash that like button, subscribe for more, and drop a comment letting me know. Have you ever dealt with an out-of-control HOA? Stay free, stay fierce, and remember, your property, your rules. I'm Monique Keene, and this was the trench that changed everything.